As I showed up last night and was wondering what I could possibly say, I was truly honored to be here. Not just honored, but humbled by the outpour of community support, by the service this committee and this community has to each other and to the nation. And before I begin, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the committee that put this together. Thank you to everybody that, from the singers to the ROTC, to everybody who put up the canopies, to all that are here. My hat's off to you, and thank you very much for what you do today. And I'd ask all of you to give them a round of applause. Mr. and Mrs. Mayor, Mr. and Mrs. Bankhead, Mr. and Mrs. The County Supervisor Sean Nelson, Navy Commander retired, and Mrs. Buck Catlin. Distinguished guests, fellow veterans, fellow service members, families, and members of the greater Fullerton community, good morning, and thank you for being here on such a beautiful day. It is truly an honor and a privilege for me to join you today as we remember and honor the American soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, America's sons and daughters, American warriors who died while serving our great nation, men and women who joined their service to make a difference. Today is fitting that our nation chooses the last Monday in May as Memorial Day. The day marks the beginning of summer, and I can tell by today's weather it's going to be a great one. But what could be a more fitting tribute to men and women who died in service as the start of a wonderful season. Memorial Day, originally called Decoration Day, as most know, began in 1868 and served as an occasion for relatives and grateful citizens to decorate the graves of those who died in service to their country. The tradition was born as a result of the Civil War and was a time to heal great bitterness between fellow Americans as we all came together to share and desire to honor our heroes. The tradition is not lost in this community by any means. Beginning over 70 years ago, 73 I was told to be precise, where in 1939 a single family here in Fullerton started the tradition in this community by decorating 50 graves of American fallen heroes. Today, over 700 volunteers come together and over a 5 to 7 day period to place the flags on over 3,800 graves, which you see before you. A single family nearly a century ago made a difference that lasts even today. The love of country then, as it is today, is truly inspiring. As the years passed, so did the great weight of this day. Too often it's seen simply as a day off of work, the beginning of summer, the end of school, the opening of our local pool, as it is everywhere. But I'm here to tell you now we are a nation at war. For nearly a decade of persistent conflict, America's all-volunteer force, supported by the great military families, have deployed most of us numerous times to establish a democracy and fight violent extremism wherever it may be. And after a decade of persistent conflict, I can tell you that it has become personal. So why do we celebrate Memorial Day? We have Veterans Day, we have Independence Day, we have Thanksgiving, to thank the good Lord for all that we have. Well, it was once said that a nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but by the men it honors and remembers. John F. Kennedy. So today, friends, I ask you that we remember our friends, my friends, your friends. Whether you knew the fallen or not, they are our friends, because they died in the hope that their lives made a difference. They didn't ask to die, but they asked to live protecting the freedoms so that we would have a chance to raise families, have careers, help others carry on the torch. A torch of hope, a light in the darkness, a torch of freedom and liberty. I can tell you as a soldier myself of 23 years, and honored to be a commander, and honored to be among the ranks of these heroes, I can tell you that we don't ask for praise. You can ask any service member here, we don't ask for accolades. We do what we do because we need to, because we are called to, and we simply ask you to remember those that have gone before us in the defense of our freedom. So I'm going to ask you today, take a moment, close your eyes, and remember those who did not come home. If you don't know anybody personally, please remember a few. Captain Morris Brown Jr., United States Army, died while capturing the Confederate flag in the Battle of Gettysburg. Medal of Honor winner. Private George Smith, United States Army, mortally wounded during an attack by 125 hostile Indians. Medal of Honor winner. Captain John P. Cromwell, United States Navy, who during World War II stayed aboard a sinking sub off the Truk Island to prevent military secrets possessed from falling into enemy hands. Medal of Honor winner. Staff Sergeant Ambrosio Gillen, United States Marine Corps, who exposed himself to attacks to supervise the defense of Fox Company's positions and the treatment and evacuation of wounded during the Korean War. Medal of Honor winner. Colonel Jimmy Leach, commander of the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, who in the Republic of Vietnam sacrificed his own life to save the lives of his own troopers. Medal of Honor winner. Army Specialist Ross McGinnis, who in 2006 saved 4 soldiers by diving on a grenade while it was in a Humvee. Second Lieutenant Pete Burks, who died while leaving a patrol to safety in Baghdad, Iraq. And Staff Sergeant Jeremy Vrooman, who died in Diyala Province, Iraq, because he refused to let anybody in his squad enter in a building before him and was struck by an explosive device hidden by a cowardly insurgent. Today we honor them all, as we also remember the families whose lives were shattered by the loss of a loved one. Fortunately, they are supported by the love of communities like this one, like Fullerton, California, and thousands of small towns and cities across this great nation who come together to honor them in a joyous, thankful, triumphant commemoration. The graves before you, like the graves at Arlington National Cemetery this morning, and the countless cemeteries around the world remind us that freedom is not free. It truly, truly does have a cost. Please know that the servicemen and women resting before you, those that have gone before us, live their lives supporting the values that are the backbone of this great nation. So today I'm going to ask you, I ask you not only to spend some time remembering them, I implore you that you celebrate their memories and their lives by striving to make a difference in your own community. Each of the previously mentioned heroes was a single person who set out to make a difference by their service. The family in Fullerton in 1939 who began this tradition that has stood the test of time has made a difference in our lives today as a witness. It was once said that it's foolish for us to mourn the men and women who have died before us. Rather, we should thank God that such men and women lived in service of their country. General Patton. So while we mourn the loss and hurt felt feelings by the families of our brave men and women defending our freedoms, we should celebrate their courage. We should celebrate the steel in their spines and the selfless actions of those brave men and women who rose to meet the seemingly impossible defending our freedoms. They are truly an example that a single person, a single family can and will make a difference. So from the President of the United States to the President of the PTA, from the teachers and doctors to our policemen and firemen to the countless community volunteers as witnessed here today, I ask you to remember our heroes, our fallen, but celebrate their lives by making a difference in your community. So in closing, I would like to return to my original question: why do we celebrate Memorial Day? Why do we have this day? I believe it's so that we don't forget the brave Americans currently serving deployed all around the world. Though they're far from us, we should remember them, remember their families, and rejoice in their courage and sacrifice and selfless service. I believe that we celebrate Memorial Day to honor those that have fallen before us and the high example that they hold for us. But I also truly believe that we celebrate Memorial Day so that as a nation, and our nation's conscious, that which makes this nation so great, we pause to ask ourselves, how can we make a difference like the many men and women who have gone before us? I thank each and every one of you for your service. I thank your families for their support. And on this day, I thank each of you for remembering those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. May God bless you, may God bless your families, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you.